Hi, I'm Stephanie Reid, and welcome to The Minutes. Thanks for listening today. It's great to have you along on The Minutes for the week of September 1st, 2025. This is a City of Thunder Bay podcast. The Minutes takes a look at what happened at Thunder Bay City Council this past week. You can find The Minutes wherever you get your podcasts, including our YouTube channel and our website, thunderbay.ca/theminutes. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. On this episode, I'll have a rundown of what happened at Thunder Bay City Council this week, as well as an interview with Director of Development Services Joel DePeuter, who will give us an update on the Build Thunder Bay One-Stop Development Shop. But first, this week marked a historic first, the very first Tuesday council meeting under the city's new governance procedures. For decades, council has met on Monday nights, but with the new governance model, meetings have shifted to Tuesdays, and they now begin with a new opening ceremonies. Speaker Folds began this meeting with a land acknowledgement, the first of what will be a rotation where different councillors will share their own words each week. Following that, council chambers welcomed a performance of O Canada sung by a young community member. Going forward, different individuals and groups from the community will be invited to sing the anthem at each meeting. Next came something else brand new, the introduction of the consent agenda. City Clerk Krista Power explained that items that are procedural in nature and mainly for information, like committee minutes and formal appointments, will now be bundled together and voted on at once. This streamlines the process and saves time. Councillors can still pull any item out for separate debate if needed, but otherwise these formalities are grouped together for efficiency. This week's consent agenda included the minutes from the Audit Committee, the minutes from the Community Communications Committee, the minutes from the Waterfront Development Committee, and the appointment of acting mayors for 2025 and 2026. The bundle was approved. Council then reviewed the minutes from the August 25th Committee of the Whole meeting. Speaker Folds noted that history was being made, as this would be the last set of Committee of the Whole minutes ever presented to Council in this format, another change under the new governance model. The minutes were approved. Next up was the follow-up from the August 25th Council meeting related to the designation of encampment sites. This was the item Councillor Hamilton had pulled for a recorded vote, then deferred to ensure full Council attendance. The motion would have had Council approve criteria for allowable encampment areas and then delegate administration to select sites based on those criteria. After debate, the motion again failed on a tie vote. The outcome means administration will instead develop site selection criteria, apply them to potential sites, and then bring that full package of information back to Council, who will ultimately select the final sites. Next up, City Manager John Collin provided a Q3 update on the City Manager's work plan. He opened by noting that the city doesn't have unlimited resources, time, people, or money, and managers often struggle strategy off the side of their desk, while also managing daily operations. The purpose of the work plan is to focus those limited resources on completing the most important work first. City Manager Collin also emphasized that this plan is in addition to the city's many existing strategies, meaning there's already a great deal of work underway. Among the items that have been completed so far are the Build Thunder Bay One-Stop Development Shop, initially launched in June, and we'll hear more about that later when we speak to Director of Development Services DePeuter. Phase 3 of the Asset Management Plan, also approved by Council in June, the Council Composition Review, the Governance Model Review, and the new procedural bylaw, which came into effect in this very meeting, the Citywide Community Improvement Plan, and the Naming Rights Strategy and Plan, where negotiations are currently underway. He also noted the Smart Growth Action Plan is nearing completion, with a draft going to Council on October 7th, followed by public engagement and a final plan expected in December. Most other Tier 1 items remain on track, though there are delays in updating the Corporate Emergency Management Plan and in implementing the 10-part Encampment Response Plan. Tier 2 items, by definition, those that started in 2025 but won't be completed until 2026, are generally on track. One item has been completed, the review of the paid parking framework. A new Tier 2 item has also been added to the City Manager's work plan, the Safety Framework Review and Action Plan. Tier 3 through 6 items have not started yet. City Manager Collin also spoke about upgrades to key infrastructure, including the North Core streetscape, and made the point that the work plan was intentionally built with more actions than can realistically be completed. That way, if some are derailed by outside factors, there are always others ready to move forward. Finally, Council turned to the notice of motion filed earlier by Councillors Zazino regarding the temporary village site selection. The motion required 3 decisions. 1, a vote to suspend the rules. 2, a motion to rescind the previous site decision. And 3, a motion to refer the matter back to administration for new options. The first step, suspending the rules, required a 2/3 majority or 9 votes. After discussion, the vote failed to meet that threshold. With that, debate ended there, and the notice of motion will return to Council in 2 weeks' time. And that was the end of this week's Council meeting, the first under Thunder Bay's new governance procedures. We'll have an interview with Director of Development Services Joel DePeuter in just a moment. One of the milestones marked complete in the city manager's work plan was the Build Thunder Bay One-Stop Development Shop, a project that has been years in the making, designed to make it easier and faster to build in Thunder Bay. Whether you're a developer planning a new multi-unit building or a homeowner wanting to add a basement suite or a backyard ADU, the One-Stop Development Shop is meant to bring all the services you need under one roof: planning, building, realty, and more, with a streamlined process both in person and online. To talk more about what this means for builders, residents, and the future of Thunder Bay, I am joined by our Director of Development Services, Joel DePeuter. Hey, Joel.
Hey, Steph. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming. So for listeners who may not be familiar, what is the One-Stop Development Shop?
Well, the purpose, we'll say first, talk about the purpose of the One-Stop Shop. So the purpose is to make development easier. There's a lot of focus on growth. Thunder Bay needs to grow to be able to sustain its, the delivery of programs and services. So all growth comes from building, right? So we need to make building and developing easier. So, so you mentioned that one of the large changes that's been made is bring more services under one roof. So we now have all development-related services under one roof, at one location, one service counter. So that now includes, just for examples, right? So previously, if you required heritage approvals, you would go somewhere else, or sewer water connections, driveway permits. So there are now several new services that are available at the central location, which is on the second floor of the Victoriaville Civic Center. The other large changes are that we just sought to make it easier to find information and provide more clear information. So there's a new website, which very, very nicely lays out anything that developers or the homeowners may need to know. And we've moved to a single point of contact, or a primary point of contact, which is phone number 807-62-BUILD, and we have the singular email address of buildtbay@thunderbay.ca.
What was the URL of that website you mentioned?
It's buildthunderbay.ca is the coordinates for the website.
Perfect. So you sort of alluded to this a little bit, but what sort of challenges were people facing that the One-Stop Shop is going to, hopefully fix for them?
Well, I think development, it's actually pretty complex, right? So, and there are lots of different types of development. So I think, we've worked to make more complex developments, like, let's say, multi-residential building or a new subdivision, hotel development or commercial developments that involve a number of stages, more simple and more streamlined. So there we're thinking about the customer that's perhaps like the experienced seasoned builder, and we want that builder to do more work with their time and complete additional projects. And then we also think about the homeowner that perhaps is building a new home for the first time, or a garage or a deck. And, these projects that are smaller in scale, they still can be fairly complex to a person that's doing it for the first time. So those are just a few of the major customer groups that we consider as we've provided, updated information, provided new ways to share information, and streamline some services.
That's perfect. So can you, and again, you've sort of gone into this a little bit, but can you give some more detail on what changes have been made maybe behind the scenes to make this whole development process easier, to implement the One-Stop Shop?
Yes, so some of the changes include, it's not really behind the scenes; it's front facing. So we have a bright new service counter, and so the space is looking fresh and welcoming, and have added some customer meeting rooms. So we really encourage people to come visit us, and our professional staff are available to walk people through their projects. We have developed a lot of new information and guides, which are available on our website, which is new. So that is like also behind the scenes work that people may not be aware of, and also like our back office work. We've streamlined workflow. We're adding to the list of services that are digitized, where permits or applications can be submitted online and checked in on online, so that people are instantly aware of where their development application is at.
That's awesome. So it's been a couple of months now. It was earlier in the summer that you launched, right, in June, I believe. Mm-hmm. So have you had any feedback from developers and builders? Are they seeing results?
Yes, well, I think, so the feedback that we've received is good. And, there are always difficult files, or let's say surprises or situations that arise that are unanticipated. And those also help us learn, right? Like help us learn how to help people and help ask the right questions and provide, let's say, add to the guide of questions that a person may want to ask themselves as they're planning a project.
So I guess speaking of projects, we're seeing projects happening all across the city. A lot of infill projects. We're hearing, that word sort of come up a lot. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us why infill is so important to what we're doing, and how that fits into this larger strategy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so infill, so meaning building on services that already exist, or perhaps making better use of a property that's underdeveloped. Like, this is critically important to, this is the path to a city that is financially sustainable. Should Thunder Bay grow and grow outwards, that actually doesn't that doesn't make better use of the tax revenue that we receive. It actually adds to the city's maintenance bill, which is currently hefty. Each time that a property is developed on existing services, that takes advantage of the investment that's already incurred. So that tax revenue largely is new tax revenue that can be used to continue to maintain our infrastructure, to supplement it, and improve our service levels.
And so, speaking of housing, the city of Thunder Bay has exceeded their provincially set housing targets. How significant is that achievement?
Well, we feel really good about it, and so Thunder Bay is doing very well. It's been recognized by the Housing Accelerator Fund as one of the top performing cities. The Premier was here recently to congratulate Thunder Bay on far exceeding its housing target, and in 2025, like I think the trajectory is good. I am confident at this point that we'll be exceeding last year's development and the number of homes that were constructed. So I think we're certainly on a good path.
Yeah, it's an exciting time for sure. You mentioned the Housing Accelerator Fund. How has that money been used to support projects in the city?
Mm-hmm. So that money's been it's being spent in a few different ways. So we have been undertaking study. We'll just put it into two main buckets then. Okay. So one large component is to improve the land supply going forward. So investments are being made in infrastructure and studies to unlock land that can be used for housing, and also we're incentivizing housing directly, and particularly incentivizing higher density housing and housing on existing services, the infill that we discussed. So this really pays forward towards the future success of our city, and it's it's just a great investment in our future.
It's awesome, right? And so we've seen a lot of larger developments. We're seeing regular homeowners building ADUs. Is the variety of these different types important? I mean, I assume the answer is yes, and then so maybe why can you explain why it's important for us to have a variety of building types happening at the same time?
Yeah, in addition to just increasing the number of homes, we also want to ensure that there's a good variety and affordability. That there's good like a variety of affordability levels as well. So. This is also something where I'd say we're making a lot of progress on, and so it's important that single family homes are developed that are in newer areas. So that is continuing to happen, and also we're seeing like a large increase in multi-residential properties, and so much so that I believe that at about like last year, 80% of our housing development was multi-residential. So that's doing great things to improve rental affordability, or at least maintain our affordability levels as demand increases. So you had mentioned ADUs, so that's an additional dwelling unit in an existing home, and it's really exciting to see the uptake on those grants and the information and the utilization of information that have been providing. Adding an additional unit to existing home, there are a lot of benefits, right? So we can add a new, more affordable unit. It helps the homeowner with their own affordability, and perhaps helping people bridge their gap to being able to own their own home by supplementing it with some rental income.
Yeah, it's really. You mentioned how it's complex. It's very interesting. It's very complex how all of these pieces sort of work together, right? What is next? What else can we expect to see in the next few years?
Right. So we continue to do work to increase the land land availability for housing. We have a large project underway right now under Central Avenue that's received grant support. And also we are now reviewing the results of a call for proposals on a number of large opportunity sites that were under the city's ownership. So these things combined make the way for thousands of residential units. I think when this work is complete, we will be well set up for the medium term anyhow. So as the Growth Action Plan is being completed, we are readying ourselves to adjust our sites towards employment land growth and unlocking land for non-residential growth as well. So that's exciting work to take place in the next few years.
That's awesome. I'll take it back to housing just quickly. If someone is listening and thinking about building, maybe an ADU, maybe a duplex, or becoming a small developer themselves, what is your message to them?
Well, I'd say start planning now. Come in and visit us, or send us an email and we would be happy to connect you with one of our professionals to help you plan for the project. So we're doing everything we can to encourage people to not wait, right? Develop now. Now is the time that our real estate prices, they remain lower. There may be grant funds available to help out with the development, particularly if you are adding additional unit or building a multi-residential unit, or maybe constructing something in the downtown areas. We encourage you to come in, talk to us, and we'd be happy to help you plan your project and show you the path.
That's awesome. You mentioned development charges there. I have heard recently many times City Manager Colin and yourself and others talking about how I believe we're one of the only major cities in Ontario that doesn't have development charges. So for those of us who don't really understand what that means, how much would development charges be on a new build in a community that had those? What difference does it make in the cost, I guess?
Sure. Yeah. So development charges, it's a levy that's applied to a new development that is used to pay for infrastructure and services that can support that development. And So like what that charge may be is calculated, and so we'd have work to do to determine what that would be for Thunder Bay if Thunder Bay chose to impose or apply development charges at a later date. But in like large centers, it could easily be $100,000 per residential unit. So that is there's a substantial cost savings to develop in Thunder Bay where those development charges are not currently present. So that's right. That is another reason to not wait, right, and choose to develop now.
And that must make it more attractive for investors and folks looking to build here, right? It must, if you're comparing communities, that must, hopefully make us stand out a little bit.
That's right.
Yeah.
And actually, I think the evidence it's anecdotal right now, though. We're receiving many more calls from out of town investors and owners, and actually, so down nearby in downtown Fort William, many buildings have been purchased recently, and many of those purchases are from people that do not live in Thunder Bay, and who are seeing the value here in Thunder Bay, and intend to purchase at a level that's affordable and have that value increase.
Yeah, and so it is, right. We've said a few times that it's an exciting time, and so I guess on a personal note, what excites you the most about the where we're headed on this growth path? What do you see for us?
Well, there's a few things that I find particularly exciting, and I think it is really great to see in the numbers, right, that the infill has really taken off in Thunder Bay. In the conversations that we have, we find that people are just generally more accepting of this notion that it is important to add density within their residential neighborhood. So we've had in over past, let's say, planning application files and things like that. There's been objections in cases where that's just not happening anymore, because people are seeing that a diversity of the housing stock is very, very important. And I think many people are also thinking about as they age, where they would like to live as they move away from individual home ownership and would like to remain part of these neighborhoods.
That's really it, right? You've fallen in love with this neighborhood, and now you just maybe need a smaller place, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
It's a common story.
Yeah. So we'll sort of wrap it up with, I'll give you one more chance to get that number and that website out there. And if there's, one sort of takeaway or one more thing that you'd like people to know about the One Stop Development Shop and about development in Thunder Bay, what would that be? Well,
something I would want to emphasize is our customer first approach, right? And I've said it a few times that we're very available to have a customer meet with our professionals and help them walk through their project, and talk about some of the questions they might want to be asking themselves, early on in the planning stage. So there are a number of ways to meet our staff. You can book an appointment online. Again, that website is buildthunderbay.ca. The central phone number is 807-62-BUILD, and the email is buildtbay@thunderbay.ca. So very easy to make an appointment through the website, or just call that number or come by and visit us, and we'll be happy to help.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Joel. That is it for this week's episode of The Minutes. A big thank you to my guest, Joel DePeuter, Director of Development Services, for giving us more information on the vision for building in Thunder Bay and the One Stop Development Shop. And as always, thanks to you for listening. If you want more information about City Council, agendas, or minutes, visit thunderbay.ca/council. You can catch The Minutes every week wherever you get your podcasts, on YouTube or on our website at thunderbay.ca/theminutes. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you never miss an update. I'm Stephanie Reid. Thanks again for listening to The Minutes. Have a great week.